So we're going to talk about seller domination and exactly the seller domination method. So when your seller is in your market and you locate that specific niche. So when it comes to marketing for sellers, we can market to either a distressed list or we can market to a non-distressed list. So we've got the non-distressed list that we're going to market to are sellers who non-distressed or sellers are basically absentee owners and owner occupants. So what we're talking about specifically is distressed list and then surrounding that distressed list and being seen everywhere and being omnipresent. So when your seller is ready to sell, they only think of you. All right, so it's called the seller domination method, and here's how it works. We're going to kind of get into it. So if you guys are marketing for motivated sellers, this is a way to, first off, be seen by, your niche everywhere. Number one. Number two, it's going to reduce your overall cost per lead. Number three, it's going to increase your conversions because when they make a decision, they're going to decide to do business with you. Why? Because they're seeing you everywhere, right? So they're going to be at front of mind when they're making that decision to do business. So here's the deal. Let's talk about. How exactly that works. So first off, we want to start with what's called a distressed list. A distressed list is how we start, and what we're going to do is we're going to pull that distressed list with the motivated sellers, and we're going to get, and you can get it from something called like PropStream, or you can get it from List Source, the distress list. So the distress list, there's basically 5 distress lists that we can target and be able to surround. The ones that have some sort of distress element to them. So number 1 is pre-foreclosure. Number 2 is property tax default. That's a seller that hasn't paid their property taxes. Both of these have what's called impending events, meaning that there is a deadline where if they don't solve the problem, then they are going to lose their property, right? So there's an impending event that's involved with those. So pre-foreclosure, property tax default. Then we have vacant properties. So these are people that walked away from the properties. Then we have inheritance and probate. Those are the 5. Now there's some other smaller lists like code violations and stuff like that, but these are primarily the 5 that we want to surround with our marketing message. So when those sellers are thinking about selling and their time and circumstances change, that we are there right in front of them when that happens, and we're able to be there and make that offer, okay? So what do we have for distress list? Now, we only want to focus on distress because we're going to do a multi-channel marketing and surround that seller with our message, right? So let's start. What's the distress list again? We've got pre-foreclosure, we got property tax default, we got vacant properties, we've got inherited properties, and we got pre-foreclosure. So what we can do, right? And let me tell you where you can get these lists first. Pre-foreclosure you can get from List Source or PropStream. You can get property tax default. I believe you can get that from PropStream. Vacant properties you can get from PropStream. Inherited properties you can get from Successor Data. We got Successor Data is for inherited properties, and probate properties that you can get that information for. So what we do is we get the list, and we're going to direct mail the list. That's the first thing. We want to send what's called a Street View postcard from yellowletterhq.com. Street View postcard from the Yellow Letter HQ. So the first thing we're going to do to surround and create an omnipresence with our seller, and we're talking about a motivated seller with distress. This is where you want to spend the money on doing it. To create that omnipresence is direct mail. That's number 1. Now what we're going to do is we're going to skip trace that list. We're going to skip trace that list. If we go to skiptracelists.com, skiptracelists with an S.com, You can skip trace that list. They'll give you up to 10 phone numbers per record, right? So if you have Joe Blow in Phoenix or whatever, they're going to give you up to 10 phone numbers, cell phones, any known phone number they had, any known cell number they had, any known landline that they had. So they're going to give you any known number for that seller, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to take those combination of distress lists. We're going to take that full list again, and then we're going to turn around and we're going to skip trace that list using skiptracelists.com. And then after you use that, skiptracelist.com, they're going to give us all the numbers. We're going to pull out all the cell phone numbers and we're going to RVM them, right? Which is called ringless voicemail. Ringless voicemail, you go to getrvmleads.com, getrvmleads.com. You can then ringless voicemail. So think about it. Now your seller, you're creating omnipresence, right? They're getting a postcard from you. Then they're getting a ringless voicemail. And you can even reference that saying, hey, I sent you a postcard about your property. We're looking to purchase in your neighborhood, right? So you even can reference the postcard. So now either they get the postcard and then they get the ringless voicemail, or they get the ringless voicemail, then they look for the postcard. Now, after you send your targeted distress lists with a postcard, then you're going to send a ringless voicemail. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to have landlines on there, and you're going to cold call the landlines. Either A, you can pick up the phone and cold call them yourself, or you can hire a company that we use, which is called 1000callsaday.com. So you can hire that specific company, and what they can do is you give them the list of landlines, and they're just going to cold call that list for you. So now they're getting direct mail, they're getting ringless voicemail, they're getting cold calling, right? So we're hitting them on pretty much, every market. Now we've got to hit them online, right? So we know that there's billions of people in Facebook, right? Billions of people. A lot of people are on Facebook. So, and yes, these distressed sellers are on Facebook as well. So what we're going to do then is we're going to take that skip traced lists, and in that skip trace list, right, they're going to have email. They're also going to have phone numbers, and they're going to have their name and where they are from, like Phoenix or whatever part of town they're in. And what's going to happen is we're going to take that and we're going to upload it to Facebook and create an audience, a distressed audience. Now every single month, what we're going to do is we're going to pull those same distressed lists, and then we're going to mail them. Pull the list, and then we're going to mail them. Pull the list, and then we're going to mail them. But also, we're going to skip trace it every month. Then we're going to ring this voicemail. We're going to cold call, and we're going to import them into Facebook audience. And we're going to display an ad to them as well, right? We're going to display. It could be a video. It could be a video you created, or it could be or it could just be a still image of, sell your house fast for cash type of thing on Facebook. So now think about this, right? Think about this. So now they're getting a postcard. Now they're getting a voicemail in their cell phone. Now they're getting cold called. Now they go on Facebook and they see you on Facebook. This is all the distress list. You're literally creating what's called omnipresence in your motivated seller's mind. Now, you don't want to do this with a blanket list or absentee owners, just because it's too broad, right? There's no motivation there. So that is incredibly important when you're being able to do that. Now, there's one more thing you can do, right? Because in the skip tracing, you're getting the name, you're getting the email, you're getting the address, getting the phone number. You're getting the phone number, but basically what you're doing now is have their email address as well. So what you can do is you can use a service like MailChimp, or you can use a service like Gmass that is basically a plugin for Gmail called Gmass, where you can send up to 2,000 emails in Gmass. So you go into Gmass, right? Or you go into, say, MailChimp, and you import those numbers, and you can send them an email message. Now, that's a gray area. You make sure you want to have the canned spam information, which in MailChimp they automatically have. You can essentially email those people as well using a MailChimp or using a GMass, but it is a gray area. Make sure you have the canned spam information on there on the bottom of the email so people can opt out if they want to. So let's talk about this. So we have our distress lists, and we have our pre-foreclosures, we have our property tax default, we have our vacant list, we have our we have our probate and inheritance. And then we take that list, we direct mail them, and we use the Street View postcard we can use from yellowletterhq.com. Street View postcard at yellowletterhq.com. So we take that list and we send them a direct mail piece. And what this Street View is it pulls the front image of the property. So when they get the postcard, it's literally their property is right there in front of them. You get great response rates. Sellers call in and they want to sell their house, right? Or they want to know where the heck you got the address. But it's personalized in a way that a lot aren't. Now, once you mail them, then you're going to skip trace the list with skiptracelist.com. You're going to RVM all the cell phone numbers. You're going to cold call all the landline numbers. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take that full list of cell phone numbers, email addresses, and everything. You're going to import it into Facebook. Facebook will do a match. It will create an audience. And then what you're going to do is now you're going to display ads on Facebook to that list. And then you're going to take the email addresses out and then send those sellers emails, right? Now, think about this. Let's say you do that, right? Now, this is pretty advanced. This is an advanced marketing method. Do you think you'll beat out the competition, right? You'll beat out yeah, it's a science. Do you think you'll beat out the competition if they only see the potential competition on one channel, right? So the channel is, direct mail, or the channel is ringless voicemail, or the channel is cold calling. If they only see them on one channel, what's going to happen is, right, you're going to show up and they're going to see you everywhere. They're going to see you all over the place. They're going to see, and it's going to feel like you're the biggest guy in town, but you're only targeting maybe 5,000 to 10,000 people. So what happens is, let's say I have a list of 1,000, you send it to Yellow Letter HQ, and what they're going to do is they're going to pull the actual Google image, put it on the front of the postcard. It's all done with software, and they're going to send them a postcard with their picture of their house in front of the house. And it's a new technology that works, and it works really well. And you can go to like Yellow Letter HQ. There's some other mail houses that do it as well, but that one is it's easy, it's simple to do, and it's awesome. But literally what you can do is that becomes your main method of marketing, right? That becomes your main method of marketing. You pull one list, right? Every single month you pull the list and you surround that list, and you'll be getting calls from RVM. You'll get cold call where you book appointments. You're going to get the postcard. You're going to get people that's going to inbound call and also turn into leads on Facebook. You're going to send out emails, and they're going to respond back and say, yes, I have a house to sell. I saw you on Facebook, or I got your postcard in the mail. And you can reference whatever the postcard. Say, hey, I sent you a postcard with a picture of your property on the house. So reference that through all your marketing. And it is, and you're going to see an exponential increase in the amount of leads you're going to get come in, because they're going to see you everywhere, which is killer. So that is called the seller domination method for omnipresent. How to become omnipresent in your market, and literally it's like you surround those 1,000 people, and you're going to send out. You're not going to send out the RVM once. You're going to send it out each week, right? You send out the RVM each week to those sellers. All right, guys, have a phenomenal day. God bless. Rock the house, and I'll talk soon.